This is a very exciting day for Bill Fennelly and the Iowa State women's basketball program. The Cyclones have secured the signatures of 5 high school players, giving Fennelly what many would argue is one of the best recruiting classes in his 19 years at Iowa State. Nakia Bell is a 5'6" point guard from St. Louis. Bell enters the program with a great tradition of outstanding point guards.
Nakia is a point guard from Incarnate Word High School in St. Louis, Missouri. One of the best high school programs in the country. Dan Rolfus does an amazing job. I think last year they finished the year number 2 in the country. They were undefeated state champs. Really good with the ball. What she lacks in height, she makes up for in her skill sets. Has a great feel for the game. Runs a college system, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of stuff that we do at Iowa State. Can shoot the deep three. Has got a little floater in the lane. And again, the kid that really enjoys the game. And I think because of the way she's been taught, her transformation into college basketball will be a little bit easier. And we need some depth at guard. And I think Nakia is someone that can really come in and do some good things. She's used to winning. She's a highly competitive kid, was highly recruited, and plays on a high school team with a lot of great players. So the winning part was big, and I think the idea that she could do it here was something that really attracted her. Can really shoot it, shoots it deep, kind of has to because she's short. So I think she can stretch the defense, not afraid to take big shots. We've seen her make a bunch of threes in games, and to her credit, she shoots it only when she needs to, and she plays on a really good high school team. She facilitates the game the way you'd like a point guard to do. We always have point guards that score here, and she knows that. So we wanted someone that could not just get us into offense, but with a 30-second clock, you got to be able to create offense, and sometimes you're creating it for yourself. And the ability to stretch the defense, use the three-point line with a new 10-second backcourt in the women's game, a 5-second closely guarded. The ball handling becomes even more of a premium than it was last year. So we're really, really excited about what she's going to bring to our team, and the kind of kid that our fans, I think, will really enjoy rooting for. Just she'll come out there, and she looks like Muggsy Bogues, I think, a little bit. But those kind of kids usually bring a positive energy to your team.
Emily Durr is a 5'11" wing player from Utica, New York. Not a common recruiting territory for Iowa State, but the Cyclone coaching staff fell in love with Durr's game, and the feeling was mutual.
Emily reminded me of Tracy Gahan the first time I saw her. That's a high praise coming from me because Tracy, as everyone knows, one of my all-time favorites, and I think one of the best players to ever play here. But Emily has what I'd call an old-school game. Her dad's a high school boys coach. She's got the game that understands it, knows how to shoot it. Most kids don't have a mid-range game anymore. She's got that. She's a tall guard. Obviously, New York is not a recruiting hotbed for Iowa State, but we saw her literally by accident, and she's just reminded us so much of Tracy and a player we had at Toledo named Mimi Olsen. So we just called, and I think, she's from a small town in New York, so the idea of coming to the Midwest wasn't a big deal to her. The community fit perfectly. Unfortunately, she's a Red Sox fan. I won't hold that against her. But she's someone that I think has a skill set that we like. Athletically maybe isn't a blazer, but can handle the ball, knows how to play. What we like to say is I think she's a play ahead of the game sometimes. And a lot of young high school girls players are not. They're good in the moment. I think she thinks the game. She's cerebral. But to go with her skill sets, and I think we can probably play her anywhere on the floor because I think she's good enough with the ball. She can handle it enough to do the things that we need. But we need somebody to score, and that's the one reason we really liked it. I thought she could score in a variety of ways, and that was something that we felt really fit our skill set, and her personality really fits what we're about. She's a throwback kid. She doesn't do Twitter, doesn't do Facebook. Just wants to go to school and play ball, and that's the kind of kid that I think will do really well here. We were in an AU tournament in Tennessee, and Billy was looking at a kid, and he called me. He says, "You need to come see this kid." And I'm watching the game, and I said, "I like her," and he goes, "That's what I'm talking about." And I said, "Well, she's from New York. Have you looked at a map lately?" And he just said, "Well, why not?" And we called, and it just kind of fell together, and the family really liked what the Iowa State family was about, and it just kind of came together quickly, and she committed to us in May, and we couldn't be more excited.
Brianna Fernstrom is a 6'5" post player from Fridley, Minnesota. Fernstrom has enjoyed an outstanding high school career and will bring some much-needed size to the Cyclone front court.
Brianna is a kid that I think every team now needs to get. Brianna is a big, strong, physical, on the block, old time, just gonna bang on the lane. She's 6'4", she's left-handed. It was funny, we were trying to decide what to do with her. We really liked her, but we weren't quite sure. And we actually saw her in the state tournament against Tyshana Johnson's team. And Tyshana's team was just racehorse up and down. And Brianna hung in there really well and made some shots and had a good summer. Can step out and shoot the three. Being left-handed, again, creates some issues, especially in the post. But her physical presence is going to cause some problems for people, whether it's rebounding, setting screens. You get her on the block. You got to have someone that you got to have a Jeff Woody. You got to have somebody that's going to get that one play. Somebody, because our league is getting so physical, and now with the rules supposedly changing, we'll see how that goes. With officiating, it's going to be harder to double team. It's going to be hard to move people off the block, and you want an inside presence, and Brianna gives us that. We haven't had a real big physical on the block player. A kid that was really excited to come to school here. When we offered, she literally committed on the spot. She really felt comfortable here. Comes from a really good family that understands work ethic, and again, a state that we've recruited a lot in Minnesota. So I think of all the kids we got, we're going to sign on signing day. She might be the most intriguing because of the possibilities of her size and length and physical presence. If we can get her to do the things that some of our other post players have done over the years, she could have a really, really good career here, and hopefully that'll happen. They do. It goes all the way back to Megan, and Amanda Nislate, and, Megan Runnemdy and Erica Haugen. All the kids we've had from Minnesota, just, again, understand it. I think that's the way they were raised, that's the way they were coached, that's the way they were taught. Very similar to the kids in our state. It's something about good Midwestern work ethic that is a cliche to some people, but for us, it's kind of a culture and a way of life. And those kind of kids show up every day. Yeah, there's games that you can't win because the other team's better, but you're not going to get outworked. You're not going to have a bunch of people that don't do it the right way. And our fan base deserves it. The university deserves it. And those kind of kids understand that. And they've all been pretty successful here, and hopefully that'll continue.
Claire Rickets is a 6'2" forward from Grand Prairie, Texas, who originally committed to Texas Tech. She'll bring a blue-collar approach to Iowa State's front line.
Claire is a kid, actually had committed to Texas Tech. We had recruited her. She committed to Texas Tech, and when they had a coaching change, they contacted us and just said, well, we might want to reopen this thing up a little bit. And I hate to compare, but for fans, they like that. She's a poor man's Chelsea Poppins, so don't get excited. She's not going to be Pop just yet, but she can run, she can jump, she's athletic. Again, a kid that has played at a high level in high school, played high-level Texas AU basketball, so she's played against really good people. A very highly motivated family. Sister's going to be a vet, brother's going to be a ranger in the Army. Just understands competition. Guy's a brother at a D2 school in Texas. So she's been in a family that's been successful, competitive. Again, a kid that skill set wise will need to do some work with her, but as far as the energy, the enthusiasm, the term we use is she's got an extra heartbeat. We just think she's really going all the time. And I think, again, when we lose Hallie, we lost Pop, we lost Anna. We've lost a lot on the interior, and we needed something bad. And so when that opened up, we got real excited about that. Again, plays in a really good high school situation, and I think someone that can come in and play right away. She's 6'2", plays a little bigger than that because she can get off her feet. Only been playing basketball almost just barely 4 years because she was a really good swimmer when she was younger. So being in the pool 2 times a day and doing those kinds of things, work ethic is not a problem for her. So we got lucky. We really did. We liked her in the beginning, and when the thing changed and we were just shocked one day, they called us and we pursued it, and luckily she decided to come to Iowa State. Yeah, Texas is not a place that I don't know that we can spend as much time with TCU in the league, and now SMU and Houston, those guys going into the Big East or whatever they call it now. But it's always a place that we're going to go. We've been really lucky with Nikki and Fallon and Kidd and Claire. So because of the Big 12, because you play down there, and there's so many kids and there's so many athletes, that if a kid is willing to leave home, we're a really good option. And I think that we've always recruited down there. We've spent a lot of time. It's not like, football where there's so many that you're going to get some. But if we could get a kid out of Texas every other year, that would be good for us, because there's a lot of kids down there that, they all can't go to Baylor in Texas. And so I think the challenge is identifying the right kid, right fit. And we've been lucky. I mean, the 4 kids that we've had, and then obviously going all the way back to Tracy, but the 4 kids that will be on our roster next year that we'll have from Texas are all kids that fit the culture, fit the Iowa State way. And I think ultimately that's the thing. Everything in life is about a fit. They need to be good players and all that good stuff, but they got to fit the culture here and fit our fan base. And the kids that we have from the state of Texas, I think, do that, and they enjoy being here. And I think that's just as important.
Blair Thomas is a 5'11" forward from Waterloo West High School. She was the first 2014 recruit to commit to Iowa State and should fit well in Fennelly's style of play.
Blair is a kid that we think is one of the better players in our state with a tremendous upside. A Big 12 athlete. When you see her walk in the building, everyone will go, wow. I mean, she looks the part. She can run, she can jump. Again, a kid that probably skill set wise is a little behind, but we'll work at it. Waterloo West High School, Dr. Tony Pappas is one of the best coaches in the country, and so she's going to come in fundamentally sound. She's going to come in understanding how hard you have to work to be good at it. But physically, as far as rebounding goes and being able to defend in space, maybe play. She's about 5'11", but maybe play a little bit bigger. We've seen her shoot the ball decent. Again, not a strength, but I think something you can build on. But again, someone from our state, and we always want to add someone from our state. I think it's very important to do that. We haven't had a kid from Waterloo in a long time, if ever. So I think you start doing those kinds of things, and has a brother that's a really good football player, so she comes from an athletic family, understands competition, was a great volleyball player, made it to state in the shot put. So just a kid that I think whatever ball you put in her hands, she can do something with it. And we're hoping, between her athleticism, her background, that the idea of when she focuses on one sport in high school, she can make that transition to really give us some quality minutes in a league where athleticism's at a premium, and sometimes we're not the most athletic team, and I think Blair adds to that. Yeah, I think so. I mean, she wasn't highly recruited, but there's something about her we really liked. Her personality. She's one of those kids that's easy to meet, easy to talk to. I think our fans will enjoy being around her. And we just felt like all the things that we already mentioned, the coaching, the in-state kid, the athleticism, the upside is really, really high for her if she aspires to that. So we just felt it was not a risk, but I think something that we felt was really worth the challenge to do. And again, her versatility as a big guard, maybe small forward, those are the kinds of things that we really liked. And we just, and most importantly, when we met her and met with her family, we really got a connection that I think she fits here, and I think she'll do some really good things for us.